up, you guys? It's your girl Mo Christine. On today's episode of Kicking It, we've got our first in-studio episode, and I've got my family, Calvin, with me.
What's up, what's up?
Now, may I add, we did take the COVID-19 safety protocol measures that we needed to have this interview, okay? So Calvin, how you doing?
Good, I'm good. Like you said, just keeping busy during this quarantine, just collecting and just kind of dusting off the sneaker collection, kind of going through, making sure I still got what I got, but also, keeping the collection nice and curated.
Yes. Now, for as long as I've known you, which is my whole life, you've been kicking it. You've got a collection. So tell them a little bit about yourself.
Oh man, so I'd probably say I've been collecting like an actual, sneakers for since about 2007, 2008. I'd say I restarted again with the Aqua 8s. Honestly, I remember I was working at Yorkdale, a couple of my buddies worked at Athletes World, and we'd always kind of check each other on lunch breaks and stuff. And I remember walking into Athletes World and seeing them on the shelf, and instant nostalgia. And obviously at the time, you got some money in your pocket, so you're able to, throw some money toward the retail. So I remember picking those up, and then from there, it was just all uphill, downhill, depending on how much money you look at, how much you spend. But yeah, it was started back then, definitely.
Okay, or it came back then.
Yes, it reignited, yes.
So when did it start?
To be honest with you, anytime I look at baby pictures, I look at the baby pictures I have and just realize that my mom's just kept us fresh.
Yeah.
You look at old baby pictures and you be like, oh, you see some Ewings, you see some Jordans, and obviously it's much cheaper, but it's kind of where are those? You're asking your mom what happened.
Where are those little pairs? Yeah.
You throw it up on the car rear view mirror and everything, but yeah, those are the things that you wish you kept. But I'd say it honestly started back then. So shout out to my moms for keeping a brother fresh.
Yeah. Okay, so how many pairs would you say that you have now?
To give you an exact number, I'm not gonna lie, would be difficult. I would say I have upwards of 150. Now, the thing is it's not about quantity, it's all about quality.
True.
So I always tell people, anytime I choose to acquire a pair, I give away a lot of pairs as well, just because you only got 2 feet, you know what I mean? So you can't wear them all, you know what I mean? So it's always good to give and then also good to get. So I'd say upwards of 150.
Man, I wish I had 150. If you ever want to give a pair in my size.
Definitely. Mind you, they're different styles though. So it's not just Jordans or anything. It's running. It's also, I have boxing shoes.
True.
I got a lot of different stuff for different sports.
You don't discriminate.
Never.
I don't discriminate either. Because it depends on how you rock it.
Exactly. So.
All right. So how much do you think you've spent?
Oh man, I can genuinely say it's gone heavily upwards, mainly because retail prices have gone up.
True.
Right? So you talk to some old heads and they'll tell you back in the day, a pair of Jordan. I remember when Jordan 1s were 110, 105. You'd walk away and if you're working a minimum wage job, you're able to take care of yourself. But honestly, I'd probably say upwards of maybe easy 2 or 3 grand. Easily, and that's on the low end,
yeah.
Right? But to me, it's never more so about how much you spend. To me, it's the journey that went into getting it. Because sometimes it's not just about the lineup. You know what I mean? It's about the camping. It's about you and your homeboys all coming together, figuring out who's gonna wait in line, and then taking turns in line, and it's a. Yeah.
Okay, wait, give me one of those camping stories because I don't know.
Oh man,
I've experienced that.
I remember camping once, and I remember the shoe that was coming out. And I remember this guy in line was just trying to stunt. Everybody's just sitting there, and he kept going back to his car every couple hours and changing his shoes. Up until the point of, I remember there was a couple dudes in line who let him know, because they saw he was trying to stunt, and they were like, listen, I don't know you don't know me, but if you keep doing that, you're not, you're gonna be you're gonna have one less shoe in your collection if you keep trying to stun on us like that. So he made sure for the rest of the, I think 4 or 5 hours we were waiting, he just sat there and stopped trying to stun on everybody. So
humble yourself, people.
100%.
So okay, how long have you camped out? You said 4 or 5 hours you were there.
I've done it about 2 to 3 times, but I can say easily I've done an 8-hour stint once, a shift, like a full work shift before. But that's the overnight, right? So you get there at 11, 12, and then the sneaker releases the next day. You get your ticket, and then you hope you cross your fingers that your size is left over.
That's dedication.
It is, but that's not even bad. I know people who camped out for damn near 48 hours. I remember when the Yeezys dropped, the Nike Yeezys. Man, I remember guys going to so these 2 guys came and they were interchanging because it was a Friday night. So one guy went to the club and he literally came straight from the club at 3, 4 in the morning and just his boy tapped him in, and he took his spot in line, and then he went to get breakfast, and they came back, and yeah, it's some good stories out there.
I don't blame him. He went to the party, then he went to work.
Exactly.
Hey, okay, so let's start kicking it. So the 3 questions I always ask.
Yes.
What are your 3 go-to / top pairs?
So I would take it and rephrase it in the point of, heaven forbid this ever happens and my house does burn down, but I say if my house were to burn down and I could only grab 3 sneakers and run out the house, they would easily be these 3. So I'll start with the Braun Big Bang.
All right.
So the beautiful thing about this one is that anybody who knows me knows I love storytelling. So storytelling to me is a big thing. Like that, to have a shoe come out, it's like, who's the athlete? What's the initiative? What's the, you know what I mean? What's the brand story? So with this, it was for the All-Star game, and it was in Houston. So you automatically think Houston, you think NASA, you think rockets. So the whole story behind it was each one had like a space theme. So this was like A Star Is Born, you know, LeBron obviously being the LeBron he is now. This was 2012. So, you know, he was obviously still on his rise, still making a name for himself, but just like the story behind this and then the details in terms of like the reflectivity, and it was this, a KD and a Kobe that came out, but just the story that went behind it, and even like the little details in terms of like the flight suit and all that stuff is just, yeah, this is one that, and the color. If anybody who knows me knows I like to shine. You know, I like the brighter the better. Yes, the brighter the better. So.
And the shoes that you got on
yes,
now,
yes. So
they are bright too.
Yes, this definitely embodies, you know, who I am as an individual.
2012.
2012.
These are in good shape.
Yeah, I honestly, a lot of stuff just goes on the shelf, and I don't wear often, but if I do, it's a summertime play.
Okay.
That's the other thing. You got to know what season. Certain shoes are seasonal. You know what I mean? You got to know when to put it up and just let it sit on ice. Definitely.
All right, nice. So that's one.
All right. So
What's
my
number
next
2?
one would be the Jordan 11. So this one came in a pack. It was a Fantom pack, and if you can even see the way it's laced, I've never even tried to put these on before. Because to be honest with you, there's something about like you'll never see me rock baby blue in like just my everyday stuff because it's not my color, but there's something about when it's on a sneaker that it just looks so, there's a purity to it. And whenever I think Carolina blue like this, I always think of like Jordan in his North Carolina days, and like you know what I mean? He was still making a name for himself and coming up, but it's just, there's something sacred about anything baby blue, like North Carolina colorway. You know, you remember like all the music videos back in the day, everybody had the jerseys and all that. So that's what I think of whenever I hold on to this.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And you never wore them.
These haven't been touched. The soles, you can see, are white as snow.
So when are you gonna wear them?
You know what? Maybe on my wedding day or something. Who knows? Depending on how fresh a brother gets, I might have to lace him up that day. So.
Well, I'll be there that day.
Most definitely. Most
and
definitely.
I'll be seeing if you wear them. All right, number 3.
All right, last but not least, I'm gonna have to go with the classic. So the Jordan 1 Bread. So the story behind this, if you can look at it, it's creased, it's whatever, but honestly, this shoe has traveled with me more than probably any of my other shoes, just because it is, one, the silhouette's classic, and 2, it's just like, it is like an all-purpose shoe. I've gone to parties, I've seen guys get married in Jordan 1s, and I can honestly say the one thing about it is just like, it's just so easy to clean. So I wore this, I'll give you a story. I wore this to Philadelphia. I went to go see Rihanna at the Made in America festival. I brought 2 pairs of shoes, and they were both Jordan 1s. And I remember being at the festival. So the condition that this is in now, it didn't look the same. So mind you, you're at a festival, it's dusty, it's dirty, da-da-da-da. And I remember a dude pushing through the crowd, walking up to me and being like, what the hell are you doing? And I looked down, I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, bro, like, what are you doing to your sneakers? And I started laughing, and I was just like, man, you know how easy these are to clean? And he just looked so pissed. Like, he looked like he wanted to fight me because I was dirtying my shoe. So I was just like, man, but I say that to say, like, I've gone about 4 to 5 festivals, I've traveled with this shoe, and as you can see, the condition it's in, it always bounces back.
So this is like the definition of your go-to.
This is, I've seen guys get married. Like, the Jordan 1 is one of those things that will never die, and especially right now, in terms of releases, like, there's so many good silhouette, like, colorways in the Jordan 1 coming out that it's easy to start a collection with the Jordan 1.
Yes,
so.
yes, damn.
Yes.
Boom, there you have it. His top 3, his go-tos.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on to past releases that you wish you got.
So going back to, like, I'd say the 11s, I'd say I have every 11 except the Bread 11s. That's one that, honestly, I've tried, I've waited, I've called the plug, you know what I mean? I've tried to call in favors, but for some reason, I just haven't got my hand on it. And I think the last one that released, they changed like one or two things in terms of like the way in which the leather overlays, and like I didn't love it. And then like to speak to my point earlier, I don't just want it for the sake of wanting. I gotta love the shoe. I gotta be able to pick it up and know that, you know, every aspect of this I love. So I'd say the Bread 11s, I'd say the Kobe Grinches that came out, you know, the neon ones that everybody wanted. So I remember when they first released, same thing. So I'm a 9.5. So 9.5, but 9.5 true, and that size is like usually that, and a 10 is usually the most coveted. Okay. So they're always kind of gone. Yeah. And then next, I would easily say the Jordan packs. Remember when they were releasing the double packs? Mm-hmm. So there was like a Raging Bull pack, and I remember the box had like a barn door on it, and just the aesthetic of it was just so beautifully packaged. And I remember I missed out on those too. So one thing I will say to any collector, anybody who's into sneakers, if you miss a release, it's never the end of the world. Honestly, like in some way, shape, or fashion, things that I've missed on, the universe just saw it fit and brought it back to me some way, shape, or form. Like I'd be traveling and go to like a sneaker boutique in like Europe and just be seeing them sitting on the wall. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's one of those, if you miss it, trust me, if it's meant to be, it'll always come back to you.
That's true.
So
That's
true. Yes.
Okay. And then now, upcoming releases. There are a lot of upcoming. Are there any that stand out to you that you're like, I gotta get those?
Honestly, I'd say, so funny enough, the Raging Bull pack, the Raging Bull 5s are coming back up again. So what I've read about it is the suede is a little bit different. It's a little bit more red. So I think I'm gonna try and jump back in and grab that one to kind of make up for the one that I didn't get back in the day. I'd say the Jordan 4 Tech Gray. So one thing about me, as much as I love colorful shoes, I just like a good clean white aesthetic. So the Tech Gray Jordan 4 that's coming out just has, you know, the elephant print. So it just has the little elephant print speckles, but it's like all white with a little red tongue. So just clean for summer. You know what I mean? Like a nice clean shoe for summer. And then last would be the Cosmic Unity. So Nike's actually coming out with a shoe that's pretty much, it's called like a Move to Zero initiative. So it's essentially using more recyclable material to make a shoe. So this, I think, is the first one. I can't necessarily like give you the number of how much of the shoe is recyclable, but pretty much like it's a shoe that they take recyclable materials, remake it, and then pretty much just make a shoe out of it. So when it comes to sneakers, I think moving toward a sustainable outlook is so much better, especially since so much stuff is coming out. So between the Cosmic Unity, Raging Bull 5s, and Tech Gray 4s, those are like next on my go-to list.
Nice. So if it's meant to be, he's gonna get them.
Yes, definitely.
All right.
Definitely.
Well, there we have it. You kicked it with Mel.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining me.
No problem.
Appreciate you for
no
taking
problem.
your time.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. All right, guys, that's the end of our in-studio episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Did you enjoy that episode? Well, do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this video, and I'll catch you on the next one.